Hey guys, it's Mack and Bruce. We're back here again at Rev Robotics doing a check-in on some of our delivery mechanisms that we've been working on throughout this weekend for our kickoff concepts. We have an updated version of our conveyor. Bruce, you want to kind of go through some of the basics on this guy?
Yeah, definitely. If y'all remember from the previous video, we had a conveyor system. It was something that we just wanted to play around with, and this is a little bit of a more advanced version of it. We've definitely gone from the polycore to the drive belts that we have here. And it is a much better system. We are using the surgical tubing on the backside to help us as far as being able to do variable heights because we do have variable pieces that we're trying to feed through this. And it does work much better. We actually have a video to be able to show you guys. As you can see, we can put the different sizes inside of here. It does work well, except you can see it really pretty easy right there. You do have things that are coming out the side. So you'll definitely have to keep that in mind as far as a frame to be able to hold these in. But the good thing about it is you can see the ball goes through. We did have a cube that went through, and we also have the duct through. So it does do 3 out of 3. But it's not as smooth of a system as it hopefully should be.
Yeah, one of the things that if we were to kind of continue to go down a path of iteration on this is likely trying to figure out ways of standardizing the compliance on that cardboard section of it as we're going kind of down. Right now we just have some surgical tubing, as Bruce mentioned earlier, on either end to kind of be able to give that compliance. So that might be something for us to kind of look at as we continue to kind of look on this and move it forward. But that's kind of where we're at with the conveyor, and I think we're going to kind of leave that concept where it is and kind of move on and see what we have kind of going on here with a couple of arm options that we have. So the first one is kind of just an iteration that we have on our single jointed arm. With this one, we are using, instead of some extrusion, we're using a lot of our C-channel here to build out some rigidity along with some of our flat plate. One of the nice things about this is the armature itself is able to be mounted to a lot of locations here on the end of our arm with the C-channel here, and it is able to get to all of the locations and kind of score effectively. With these lengths of C-channel, we're at about 16 inches, so you do have some headroom to play with when it comes to mounting this onto a drivetrain. So that's kind of where we're at with the single jointed arm. The other one that we kind of wanted to prototype and kind of play with is a similar style is another arm, but it's a 4-bar linkage. So the cool thing about 4-bar linkages is that adding these standoffs here in the linkage component allows for this face to keep its orientation no matter what level and height it is at. So unlike with our single jointed arm where it kind of moves at an arc and your intake or whatever mechanism you have attached to the end here is also going to change at that arc, this will be able to keep it at the same relative position no matter where you're kind of at. So you won't run into some of like our early intake testing problems where like balls are falling out of intakes or something along those lines. You won't end up having those types of issues. One of the downsides though with these 4-bar linkages is that you really are kind of limited on how high you can go. Where our single jointed arm, you can go completely over the top and be able to score. So depending on your team's strategy, it may drive what type of delivery mechanism you're doing, whether that's your conveyor, a single jointed arm, going over here with a 4-bar linkage, or potentially doing like an elevator that we saw in one of our earlier.
It really is kind of a trade-off as far as which one is going to work better in your grand scheme to be able to put these things together. But they're two really good kind of options.
Yep, and the other really nice thing about these is that you can kind of swap pretty easily between a 4-bar and a single jointed. It's a little bit more difficult to be able to change between an elevator and a conveyor, as they are kind of different subsystems there completely. But we're going to continue to kind of take a look at these and see maybe what else is kind of going on with some of our other kickoff concepts, see if there's some improvements we can do maybe with some of the attachment points and other things with these different systems, and see if potentially they can work maybe a little bit better together. But we have some other work that we definitely need to get done over the course of the next couple of days here. So we're going to kind of leave it where we're at right now with our arms and our other delivery mechanisms, and we'll be hopefully checking back in with you guys here in a little while.
Thanks, guys.